It's XL Primetime, featuring Joe C.
Why in the world am I sitting back and being quiet about this?
Matt Hayes.
Oh, my God, this is ridiculous.
And Leon Searcy.
If you can't hang with the big dogs, stay on the porch.
How you like me now?
Welcome in. Hump Day is here. Half of your week taken care of. The other half, well, you still got to get to it. That's for sure. A Golf Club of Southampton Wednesday. I'm definitely looking forward to hanging out. XL Primetime. If you have us on the app, on the radio, on YouTube, wherever it is, just remember, we're streaming. You can check us out there. And, of course, you can hang out in the office, on the road, wherever you might be. We get ready to jump into some Jaguar talk, and then I think we'll do NFL Power Rankings talk with your Jaguars in mind. How much, now you might officially say all the offseason work is done. How much did they improve this football team? And from the people that look at the whole 32 of the National Football League, they've got some rankings coming out of the draft. And where do you think your Jaguars are at? All right, so we got that. We got some college football we got to get into. And definitely looking back at last night, I tell you what, Maxey and the Sixers, bro, what a performance last night. That was something else to see at the end, keeping their playoff hopes alive. We'll look at the association and talk about all that's gone on over the last 24 hours and then looking forward to what's happening tonight. But let's start with the rankings. And, Leon, you know as well as I do, you could do – I always call it offseason math. You add your free agents. You add your draft choices. And this team, if you take a look at the number of starters that they went out and got in this offseason, they changed the fabric of this team fairly dramatically. How much better are they right now?
You got them going up or down? Did they move up your power ranking?
They moved up.
They moved up a little bit? Okay, all right. They moved up a little bit for me as well, especially with the free agent acquisitions that they made with the wide receiver, defensive tackle. You got cornerback, safety, all that kind of stuff. Then you go in the draft, you address the issues on one side of the ball. I'm always going on the other side of the ball. Defense side of the ball, you got your rotations. Mm-hmm. You got your corner, all right? You got your offensive lineman, offensive tackle, swing guy, so I mean, listen, if I was to give them grades, both grades on free agency and the draft, free agency B and the draft would B minus, mm-hmm. I'm just being, I'm being a stickler. Because I didn't get who I wanted.
Which is fine. That's how you should look at it.
Matt Hayes looked at me crazy when I said B minus. Mm-hmm. Your grade must be a lot lower. Give it to me.
Shocking. Shocking.
I think it's A+.
Matt's grade's going to be lower.
What's A plus? No, stop it.
It's going to be what?
It's the fake.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fake pom-poms.
Right here where I can hear you. Right
He's
there.
saying fake.
It's fantastic.
Fake.
It was wonderful, all of it.
Stop.
Oh, come on. I've never seen someone walk into a show.
I've never seen more pom-pom waving in my life. Seriously.
Really?
The B minus is not pom-pom.
Have you guys watched the offensive line the last 2 years?
I did. I just said that I didn't get exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, he said it.
I just said
Thank
it. I
you.
did not. Absolutely.
Thank
you.
Yeah. I was upset.
That's my whole problem, okay?
I mean, I would
Beyond
like for
the
you
fact
to
that they
expand
made,
it just a little bit.
Beyond the fact that they picked the wrong guy twice.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 times. Their offensive line's been terrible the last 2 years.
Bottom five in pass protection and run blocking last year.
They've done nothing to address that. I think Javon Foster down the road could be a nice answer. Javon Foster, the Missouri tackle. Oh, by the way, we have Eliah Drinkwitz coming on at 2:30. He's going to talk about Javon Foster and Mizzou, one of the hottest teams in college football right now. But I look at the offensive line because, to me, it's where it all begins. The line of scrimmage is where everything begins in football. I don't care what level you play at. And if you're not solid at the offensive line, you're going to have problems. I don't care what kind of people you have in places around them. And a perfect example, number one example, is the Chiefs against the Bucs in the Super Bowl in the throwaway season of 2020, which I've said all along, and I will continue to say at some point, we as a world are just going to say, forget 2020. We're going to go from 2019 to 2021. History. Mm-hmm. It's done.
I have some champions.
Well, it's got some champions. You can't take away. You can't take away.
I'm not even talking about sports. I'm just talking about life.
I'm going to say the Lakers got the bubble championship.
Lakers and Dodgers. I ain't letting go of either.
I see it and I think look at that Chiefs-Bucks Super Bowl. They had injuries at the tackle spots, okay? They could not protect Patrick Mahomes. They couldn't score points on the Bucs. Period. They could not win a game of significance.
Let me give you another example, though. This year, they lost offensive linemen, the Chiefs did, coming down the stretch and had poor right tackle play the entire season and pretty much poor left tackle play in Donovan Smith. And then they lost Tooney coming down the stretch. And they went up against the Bosas, the Youngs of the world, the Eric Armsteads of the world, and they held up pretty damn good.
First off, the fact that they're the worst or some of the worst tackles, that's like, in the words of Lebowski, that's like your opinion, man.
Well, it is.
Their left and right tackle were somewhere around the middle in the NFL, okay? And you guys
Taylor?
You guys can give Juwan all the grief you want. He is not a bad player. He does take a little liberties with getting off the jump early,
he was the most penalized.
He was the most penalized tackle.
Right, but he is not a
that counts.
He is in the top 16 as far as pass protection from the right tackle spot. I think it's a very easy crutch for you to say other tackles are terrible. I don't think they're terrible. I think they're mid.
Here's my point: is that they were average or below average, and they lost Joe Tooney going into the most important time of the year when they're trying to win a championship. They go up to Buffalo looking like an underdog. They go to Baltimore looking like an underdog. And now look, the Chiefs are special. I totally get it.
Still had Creed Humphrey. Still had Trey Smith.
Yeah.
Still had the two
I'm just
tackles.
saying, they've had subpar tackle play and lost a key interior lineman. That's significant. And when I look at this football team, yes, I agree. I think we would all agree. Offensive line needed to be addressed. They did not. Can they still get a 3rd and 2? Yeah, but it's still a main concern. But they got Ezra signed, and they went out and they got Mitch Morse.
Well, listen. I mean, Doug Peterson is a disciple of Andy Reid, right? Mm-hmm. He's a disciple, and Andy Reid does magic. I had never seen a coach do so much more with so much less. And maybe what Doug Peterson is saying is, look, we have an offensive line. We don't have to invest that much in there. Schematically, I can get Trevor in situations where we can get the wide receivers over and get him the ball. I mean, I don't know, because the fact that it hasn't been addressed, Matt Hayes, lets me know that he's got other plans, that maybe the offensive line isn't that more important than his scheme and what he's trying to put together. I mean, what else?
How do you feel about that, Mr. Former All-Pro right tackle?
I absolutely hate it. I'm so old school.
Yeah.
Nah.
Maybe I'm just I'm just a bitter person right now, but that's
maybe
it does appear to be so.
I don't think it is. I think I'm.
Listen, you have taken on.
I see it this way as I'm the only one that's looking at this thing realistically, man.
All right, so
it's the same offensive line.
Yeah. All right, so and I guess this is the way I'm going to treat this, and this is probably going to be my mantra going through the offseason. Let's make this the 10-10 take, RJ, because this is how I have to look at it right now.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pit masters since '68.
They smoke it slow and serve it fast, and that's really what you need to know when you're coming in. You're hungry, you want a good meal, you want some good barbecue, and you got all those choices. Make sure you check out any one of your area Sonny's Barbecue right here on the First Coast. As I think about everything, and I think about this offseason, I think Doug Peterson probably should have been up for Coach of the Year for the second straight year because they had identical 9-8 records. He was a Coach of the Year nominee the year before when Brian Dable won it, and he came up short. We all know what happened. Now, this past season, they were 9-8, just barely above 500. But if I take a look at the sum total of this offseason, and that's what we're talking about right now, how has this team changed? Where are they at in your power rankings? What type of off-season grade would you give them? Well, they've added a starter, which you have to assume with their 23rd overall pick in Brian Thomas. They've added a starter in Gabe Davis. They now have both of those guys moved in. They've added Mitch Morse as a starter. They've added Eric Armstead as a starter. We can go down the line and name all the guys, the Darbys, the Savages, on and on and on. So I think to myself, how many brand new starters are on this football team going into this year? Name. How many? What's the number? We're talking 6, 7, 8.
About 7, yeah, about 8, yeah.
And so think of that, okay? Think of out of a total of 22, you're approaching 50% new starters that are going to be pushed into this lineup. And think of what Doug was able to do with what we would consider subpar performers a season ago. That's why they had to go out and get starters. That's the 10-10 take. I'm giving Doug a little more credit when I look back and think about what they had to deal with. And now you do have more guys that have been plugged in. Yeah. So you – go ahead.
That's amazing to me that you pretzeled your way all the way into that. You think Doug did as good a job coaching this year as the previous season.
Yeah. Well, they had identical records.
That's some crazy logic, man.
Okay, I'm just telling you. I'm talking about with the amount of deficiencies they had in a lot of important spots.
I mean, if you want me to just say go Jags go, that's what I'll do.
No. I'm asking you to give me a counter to that. okay? Because think about it.
I mean, my counter is they had one of the worst passing offenses in the league. My counter is their play calling was horrible. My counter is you didn't draft well enough or do well enough in free agency to when you had injuries on the offensive line, you had guys that could step up and play.
Right, okay. Remember our conversation.
That's my counter.
Yeah, remember what our conversation is. We're talking about right now. I know what happened. I'm talking about.
But you said he was just as much coach of the year last year as he was the year before, considering what they had to replace.
There's a little smart A in there because I look at the number of starters that had been brought in this offseason to replace guys that were a little less than. You look back at last year, was Darius and Rayshon Jenkins doing their job? Well, those two starters are gone. Was Luke Fortner doing his job?
Darius Williams played pretty well last year. In fact, you can make an argument that outside of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker late, he played as well as anybody on the defense.
Well, I would agree with the first half of the season, but if you want to get to the second half of the season, which is kind of where we're drilling down, December on, those guys got eaten alive in the secondary. Okay, that's what we're talking about. The absolute fail was from December 1 to early January, where they won 1 of 6 games. They only needed to win 2 of 6 to get in the playoffs, and they didn't. So I'm being a little bit of a smart A when I say Doug Peterson did a great job. But if you take a look, Darius replaced, Rayshon replaced. They go and get Eric Armstead to man the middle because they didn't have anybody to man the middle. They replaced Luke Fortner. They replaced Calvin Ridley because they couldn't re-sign him. They certainly would have liked to have had him back, but they had to do something there. They say goodbye to Zay. They bring in Gabe. You can just add all this up, and I'm just sitting here saying that's a lot of new blood on this football team that is going to be asked to come in and step up the performance level. And Leon, that's the essence of it, man. This offseason was built to make sure that you didn't have the same failure you had a year ago.
Yeah, I agree. But it's kind of their fault, too, that they had to rebuild this season. Because of I always said their arrogance last year. When they could have addressed a lot of these issues in free agency and in the draft if they kept their foot on the gas. You know, they thought they had arrived, and then they let some things slip by the wayside. So now they had to rush this season to make up for the damage that they made last year. So, I mean, it's partly their fault. And then to not execute as well as they should have executed down the stretch during playoff time is just atrocious. Yeah. Because it's embarrassing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not going to say half of a staff, but a big portion of the staff got wiped out.
Yeah, they got rid of it.
Because they just absolutely had to change it up. Now, the offense shares in the blame, too. We can't just say this
Trevor didn't play well.
Yeah, this was not just an isolated defensive problem.
No, Trevor didn't play well at all. Despite the offensive line's lackluster play, he still was I don't think they held him accountable enough. Trevor, in a lot of games when he was healthy, was still bad. Now, you tried to give him an exit area, for his poor play, and said it was concussions and injuries and all that kind of stuff. But we had seen enough of Trevor to say that he wasn't playing as well as he should have been playing.
I don't know if I would say he played bad. I would say his ball security was bad. There's no doubt about that. 100% on that. I agree with that. I don't think he was playing bad. I think the way he threw the ball, the way he was throwing on time, I don't think that was a problem. I think the problem is structurally with the offense and the fact that he couldn't hold on to the ball.
Right.
Both things that are both highly fixable.
Right. Oh, yeah. And so the two things that you're talking about are legit, warranted. We don't know if the offense is going to change play calling-wise, scheme-wise. We really don't know. Trevor gave press a vote of confidence when he came back to start the offseason conditioning. And so we're going to find out whether that's going to change or not. But that does need to change. Okay, when you cannot get a 3rd and 2 or a 3rd and 1 because you're not physical up front and you're calling, you're running pass plays when you should be running over people. Yeah, that has to change too.
Well, what about that Ravens game when the time was winding down? Instead of him calling the timeout, he throws a pass.
Yeah, it's just bad clock management.
That's bad clock management. That's inexcusable. Or he can't handle. He's scrambling. He just fumbles the ball in midair when no one touches him
and throws it.
To
where it's an inbound completion.
Exactly. That kind of stuff. Listen. I'll give you a pass if that kind of stuff is done like in maybe September or preseason. But not in the heartbeat of the playoffs, and y'all trying to make a run, and y'all got a Ravens team that's the #1 seed, and you need to knock them off at home, by the way.
Yeah.
You can't have that. It's inexcusable. You don't get a pass for that.
All right, you guys jump in on the 641-1010. You can hit the text line. You can definitely go to the MyBookie Digital Studios. All you got to do is search 1010XL on YouTube. Throw a comment up there. Where do you have them in your power rankings? How much did they go up? How much did they go down? Think about the number of starters that they have signed or drafted, and are you buying it? Because I'm guessing a lot of you aren't. With the way the reaction has been so far. As far as the outsiders, like as an example, the 33rd team, they go over it. They give the Jaguars a B with their draft class. So we'll touch on that and a few others as far as where they have them ranked. It is a Golf Club of Southampton Wednesday. You can definitely get on the tee sheet tonight, little 9 after 5. Weather is going to be outstanding. You always have a good 9-hole game, food afterwards, some prizes. So call 287-PLAY and head on out to the Golf Club of Southampton.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong.
The Drill.
I never thought you'd pull it off.
Mornings
But you did.
on 1010XL.
Good luck.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with the best prices and our wow-ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing, and free oil changes with every purchase. You better beat the surge and head to Beaver Toyota St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville for the best car buying experience.
Mia here. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide, cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays. And new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sportsbook. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using promo code 1010XL when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
How about 75-cent wings every Wednesday night at Bay Street Sports Bar and Grill? Watch tonight's game with signature cocktails and chow down on 75-cent wings only at the newly renovated Bay Street Sports Bar and Grill downtown.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 23rd.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us, but for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks, but I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
What's spelled funny but smells great? A Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. Kuhn Flowers. The name is synonymous with excellence for over 75 years. High Flying Jacko here for your next floral purchase. Call on Kuhn Flowers.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we understand the importance of having a properly functioning air conditioning system, especially in hot and humid climates like Florida. That's why we offer a wide range of services, including installation, repair, maintenance, and replacement of all types of air conditioning systems. The Duck Duck Air Conditioning team is available 24/7, so you can count on us to be there when you need us the most. Contact us today to schedule your service and experience the Duck Duck difference. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home all week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is ViStar Good is Everywhere Wednesday, followed by Coors Light Thirsty Thursday with beer specials. Then it's Red Shirt Friday with day games on Friday and Saturday. The first 2,000 fans get a free bucket hat Saturday, courtesy of Miller Electric. Tickets start at just $5. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to bring your friends out and enjoy our spectacular golf course, which is carved out of some of the highest elevations in North Florida. Hidden Hills Golf Club, unlike any other. Check us out, hiddenhillsgc.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
We're going to start going to the gram on IG and post just like a little quick one during the break because this was funny, man. This was funny. We got to bring it into the show because we're going to go from one coach to another coach. Eliah Drinkwitz from Missouri, the Mizzou. We're going to talk to him talking about one of your Jacksonville Jaguars draft choices coming up here in a few minutes. So just a quick story because Big Sirs goes out and he is, you know what he did yesterday, ladies and gentlemen? If you're watching on YouTube, he got on the grass yesterday.
I did. You know, last time I hung up my hat coaching, it was in 2007 with FIU, and I'm back at it, bro.
You got on
Duval
the grass.
Charter of Bay Meadows. Aaron Beasley is the head coach, and I was out there. Donovan Darius was out there, and I had about 15 offensive linemen. You know what? I'm in shape because I've lost a little poundage with a couple of LBs.
Look good.
Yeah, a couple of LBs. But just the walking and the instructing and trying to get them in their stance and bending my knees and all that other kind of stuff. You know, I didn't know I had to, actually perform while I was out there. Yeah, I worked, bro.
All right, so was this a Bad News Bears setup?
It
where they
wasn't
were just like a bunch of scrubs?
No, they weren't scrubs. You know, it was just a bunch of kids who, they're big but never play ball.
Okay.
That's it. They were big but they never play ball.
So you get to mold them.
So yeah, it was. I had to be the instructional video. So I spent at least a good hour just getting them in their stance, because I tried to tell them, listen, the only way you're going to be able to be powerful in this game is that you got to have a good stance. You got to have a good base, like any other thing.
Come on.
Yeah, good. So, I mean,
that's the truth.
Yeah, you got to have a good base. So, I mean, but listen, here's one thing about me. I coach, but I'm also, I'm a kid of a parent who was a teacher for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand how to be a teacher.
That's right. You can't go in there. Wait a minute. You can't go in there like Dion, which Dion's become a bigger subject. We'll get into him in the 3 o'clock hour because he is ripping and running them off, and that can't be healthy.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, Dion's old school, and so am I. I'm still looking forward. They have no idea what they have in store for them. Right now, was just the beginner's manual. As we get down the road, I got to find me a hill. So on Saturdays, we're going to run that hill. We're going to bear crawl it. We're going to backpedal it.
Well,
we're going to find it.
I guarantee you, if you go over, you're just a little further down Bay Meadows, you can find one of those little hills on the other side of.
I don't need no little hill.
Yeah.
I don't need no little hill. I need at least a 3-story hill.
Well, you might have to take them over University Ave towards Powers.
He talks about stance, honestly. Mm-hmm. Day one, like when Saban gets freshmen in, day one he says, show me your football stance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big deal.
Oh, my gosh. It is.
Your base is important.
It's the golf grip. It's the batter's stance. It's the alignment. Yeah. You can go on and on and on with all of them. But it's so funny. Just one little snippet that I heard about Dion is that a couple of players said the first time they saw him on campus in a football setting was when he was letting them go. So he had I guess he'd watched them on tape, but he had not seen them and not talked to them personally. He basically got him for the first time and said, yeah, all you are gone.
Well, they had 82 of their 85 scholarship players were new starting last year. And they now, of that group, 63% of them are in the portal.
Yeah, and so they have just basically said, this ain't for me. Anyway, we'll get into that coming up. But Javon Foster, Matt, do you view him as a potential interior or a potential swing tackle?
He's a tackle, but I think there are multiple NFL personal people who believe he can move inside. We'll ask Eli about it.
Yeah, exactly. So the coach of the Missouri Tigers coming up on XL Primetime Golf Club of Southampton Wednesday. Jaguar fans, stick around.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealers Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers. 1. Franchi and Hicken on Mondays. 2. Denny Thompson and Hacker on Wednesdays.
Who's counting?
1010XL now has 2 original Gator podcasts each week.
One for you and one for me.
Search 1010XL Florida Gators wherever you find podcasts or visit 1010XL.com.
Joe C. for Roland Reese Plumbing. The guys, I see them around town a bunch, which tells you something. They are getting the work done. And the beautiful thing about Roland Reese Plumbing, first off, they've been in Jacksonville for over a quarter century, and they also offer 24/7. Okay, 24/7 is important. That's emergency service that's available to you from people that care. Trust me on that. You can log on plumbingjacksonville.com. You can find Roland Reese all over town and just look at the quality with all the work that they do. Use them for your next plumbing job. When you have a leak and can't wait a week, call Roland Reese.
Test your aim to help local kids succeed. It's the 6th annual Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation Clay Shoot to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida and Mackenzie's Camp Deep Pond, Thursday, May 30th at Jack's Clay Target Sports. Get your team and the Boys and Girls Club take care of the rest. Ammo, cart, clays, breakfast bites, lunch, and goodies. Proceeds benefit 56 area clubs serving over 5,200 area kids every day. Go to bgcnf.org/events.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
Hacker here with a story that really opened my eyes last week. So I was lugging little Hack upstairs. Now the kid weighs about 45 pounds. And as I'm walking up the stairs at about the same pace I used to, it all of a sudden hit me. Little Hack is the weight I used to carry around every day before I dropped over 50 pounds with Awaken 180 weight loss. Think about that. I was just carrying around Little Hack and fat just 2 months ago. Everywhere I went, all the time. Up the stairs, out to the car, you name it. That's over 50 pounds gone. What's next? Well, another 50. Yes, sir. I'm literally a completely new person, and I'm doing it with Awaken 180. And I'm more than happy to share my story. In fact, listeners are calling in saying I'm motivating them to lose weight, which is absolutely unthinkable just 2 short months ago. If losing weight is your goal, Awaken 180 is the way to do it. Make the call. 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
American Electrical, Northeast Florida's highest-rated electricians, is hiring, and they're looking for people to train for careers. It's not just job training. They're giving you a license that no one can take away from you, training you for jobs that are always in demand and will offer you a peace of mind financially and for the future. Once you know a trade, you'll always be employable. All the details are at American-Electrical.com, and with their American Electrical Academy, if you're selected, you'll learn the electrical trade absolutely free of charge. American Electrical Contractors, powered by professionalism.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about being selfless. So often when we do things for others, we can want people to see what we're doing and to acknowledge it. And yes, it's good to know that people appreciate us, but true service doesn't look for recognition. You see, when we go out and do selfless acts, God tells us that we may not get an earthly reward, but we're always going to get a heavenly reward.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 1st, 1925, catcher Jimmy Fox, future Baseball Hall of Famer, made his MLB debut at 17 for the Philadelphia A's.
Attention veterans, if you have a VA loan, you need to listen to this, especially if your current rate is higher than 6.5%. Now is the time to take advantage of the federal government's VA Streamlined Refinance Program. With my friends at Loan Pronto, you can. Go to loanpronto.com. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto has fixed rate APRs in the 5s. You can drop your rate now. Lower your payment with no income documentation and no appraisal. Do it at loanpronto.com. Their all-digital platform makes it easy. They can even cover your closing costs. If you need cash now, Loan Pronto can get you up to 100% of your home value. You can pay off all your credit cards or other debt and save as much as $1,000 a month. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508 or get a 30-second rate quote at loanpronto.com. Ask about streamlined VA loans, no income doc, and no appraisal. Loan Pronto, 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Want to rock out with Motley Crue, Foo Fighters, and Limp Bizkit? Listen to the 10-minute drill every morning this week in the 7 o'clock hour for your chance to win 4-day weekend passes for Welcome to Rockville in Daytona.
Don't ignore unusual aches or new pains down there. Be proactive and get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, or kidneys. Early detection is the key. With 5 locations across Northeast Florida, visit AckermanUrology.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
It is a pleasure to say hello to a guy who did some great things with the Missouri Tigers this past college football season, but Jaguar fans want to know about one of the guys that is leaving Columbia and coming to Duval as we say hello to Eliah Drinkwitz, coach of the Missouri Tigers. Welcome in, Coach. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. How do you do this? Duval. What's that go? How's that go?
That ain't bad.
That's pretty good, Coach. That's pretty good.
We want you to give us one more at the end once you kind of get it a little more revved up. But, yeah, they love their Duval chance, that's for sure. And when we're watching this draft unfold, Coach, we're looking and primarily seeing a lot of SEC players come off the board. So I think Jaguar fans were pretty happy when they saw Javon Foster come off. Give us an idea of what type of player Duval is getting.
Yeah, I think the number one thing you're getting in Javon Foster is consistency. I mean, he's been a consistent starter at left tackle for us for 3 seasons. You know, he only gave up 1 sack last year. He's gone against the best of the best in college football every year and been consistently one of the best pass protectors. He's very good in the run game. Toughness, work ethic, doesn't say much, not a big personality, but a big young man, and Duval Nation's going to be really excited for him to be protecting Trevor Lawrence in whatever role he has moving forward.
Hey, Eli, it's Matt Hayes. Thanks so much for joining us. Javon, can he slide inside? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's possible. He played both. He started out as a right tackle for us and then moved to left tackle as he continued to develop in his career. I mean, he's definitely got the intangibles, the intelligence to play on the inside. Play strength, I think that's just something to be determined. I'll be honest, I haven't watched enough of y'all's tape to know what the run scheme is for y'all to see if that fits his natural abilities. But he is athletic enough to handle it. You know, we run the outside zone primarily, and he does an excellent job of that. So I think he could do that on the inside. You know, I'm not sure if y'all are running a lot of duo or gap schemes. You know, that'll be up to those guys.
Now, Coach, what kind of temperament does Javon have? Because I want a big nasty. We don't have a big nasty on the line, so I'm hoping Javon's one of them.
Well, if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. I think the best thing about him, he's the captain of our football team, 2-year captain. He's a great leader, locker room. He handles the O-line room. He's not going to be out there as a vocal guy, but, hey, in those trenches, he gets it done.
All right, Eli, 11 wins last year. Just a fantastic season for Mizzou. Now the playoff expands. Now expectations are higher. Now your goals are higher, quite frankly. How did spring play out, and what are you guys looking at over the summer now to improve?
Yeah, I mean, I think spring played out exactly what we wanted. We wanted individual player development. Every player focusing on being the best version that they can be. Continue to lay the foundation of our team from a chemistry standpoint and a brotherhood standpoint. And then now we're in the final stages of portal shopping and seeing what are the pieces that we can add to create, just a better football team. For us, summer is all about building the foundation of your team. In the past, maybe you would do like the mat drills in adversity in February. We do all that in June. We'll be running the bleachers. We'll be doing fourth quarter drills. We'll be putting our team through shared adversity so that they have a resiliency to them. I think when you looked at our success last year, there was just a resiliency. We had to overcome 5 deficits in the Kansas State game, hit a 61-yard field goal. Obviously had to come back from a disappointing loss to LSU, down 14-0. Big-time play by Marquise Johnson on a fake punt to get us going. And then obviously had to overcome a 4th and 17 versus the Florida Gators. But it was because our team had a resiliency and a stubborn refusal to quit that got us over the top.
So, Eli, it's kind of a double-pronged question here. Like, when does it turn like that? And I remember this time last year in Destin, you looked at me and said, man, we're just trying to win ball games right now. We're trying to find a way to win games. When does it hit, and when did it hit last year? And when are you saying, okay, I think we've got this thing turned right now? And what's that like?
Well, I think college football is a day-to-day business. I think anytime you think you got it figured out, you're going to get humbled. So I think what we've figured out is we're just trying to be the very best we can be today. We've obviously increased our talent pool. We've obviously increased the expectation. But for our team, it's about continuing to get those daily wins. It's continually being the best that you can be on a daily basis. Show up to class on time. Show up to weights on time. Have great energy and positive, contagious energy when you're there. And I think that, to me, is how we continue moving forward. So I'm not sure that we ever think it's turned around or not turned around. We just know that we're being consistent in our approach to this football team.
Yeah, Coach, I was just thinking that a segue off to what you were just talking about, your philosophies, pretty much the same, but differently than last year or going to the season last year. I mean, you're no longer the hunter. You're not hunting. You're the hunted. I mean, with the expectations of being the top of the SEC, does the philosophies change or the game plan change, or you kind of stay status quo?
Yeah, no, it's still just about us. It's about our team and our preparation and our execution. It's not ever really about the opponent or what their motivation is or whatever their psyche is going to be into the game. It's really about, do we have the right kind of energy? Did we prepare the right way? Are we focused to execute? I think the reality of it is within our locker room, the standard and expectation for our team has raised. We returned 16 of the 22 starters from the Cotton Bowl win. We basically returned 11 starters on the offensive side of the ball that averaged 33 points a game. So I think all of us expect that average has got to go up. You can't be on the same level that you were last year. We challenge our guys. If you were to play the same person, if you were to play yourself last year, if you don't dominate them, then offseason wasn't what we wanted it to be. So our guys are focused on that growth.
That's a great way to put it, because we're talking about off-season rankings with the Jaguars and how much they improve. We're talking with Eliah Drinkwitz, coach of the Missouri Tigers. I'm going to go only on Eli. This is the outside looking in, all right? Outside looking in, people go, how is Missouri doing what they're doing with the portal, with NIL? You have done a tremendous job in that area. How have you tackled it? How have you viewed it?
I think anytime there's disruption in a landscape, it gives somebody who's got an open mind and instead of complaining about it, just sees it as an opportunity. And that's really been not only my mindset, but our athletic department and our entire state. How do we utilize this disruption as an opportunity to advance our condition? And that's really been what we did. Now, I think we have things in place. We don't take every transfer. We want every transfer to be uniquely be uniquely them, but they got to join us in our mission. And who they are and what their goals are have always got to fall in line with what we're trying to accomplish as a team. And I think if you can find that kind of person who also has the talent to play in the SEC, you got a special team. We had last year, I think at one game there was 11 of the 22 starters were transfers, which I think is a positive thing for the University of Missouri. But then you've also got guys who've been here the whole time. You got Luther Burden, you got Brady Cooks, you got Johnny Walkers. Those guys, you got Marvin Burks, you got, Brett Norfleet, Armand Membous, Connor Tollefson. These are elite players who we've recruited and developed, but at the University of Missouri, you may not always get that many. So you got to be able to supplement what you've done with player development with transfer portal.
All right, Eli, speaking of player development, kind of a big question that's really hanging over college football right now. You've been a guy that said all along, I want the players to earn off NIL. Right now, we've got a potential paradigm shift coming up in the next month or so with shared revenue. And speaking of player development, how will that change in the way players accept coaching, in the way they move around from team to team? It's going to be a difficult idea right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't. I think this day and age, you can get caught up in so many theories or expectations of what's going to be in the future. I haven't even read into that article to figure out what it is. So I'm kind of like, tell me what we can do today. All right, what are the rules for today, and how do we utilize those rules to the best advantage of the University of Missouri? What they're going to do in 2 weeks, 2 years, 3 months, I don't know yet. I just know this: whatever it is, we will analyze it and we'll adapt it to be the very best that we can be at the University of Missouri football. And I thought Danny Hurley had some really good quotes when he was talking through his run to the national championship. I think it goes back to making sure your players have great parents who can really, or who have instilled in them, great work ethic and team values. And I think if you can continue to find those type of kids, whatever the adjustment is, it's got to be about the team. We talk about the team has to come first. And as long as you can find those right kind of players, I think you got a chance to win in college football.
Couple more for Eliah Drinkwitz, coach of the Missouri Tigers. College football playoff, 12 teams. It's going to be, I think, massive for the fan to soak up. And I think you guys threw your name. Well, actually, play the soundbite, RJ. This is when he threw his name in the hat for Missouri.
We scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. We put our fist up, and we said, we're not giving in. We're faster, stronger, tougher than you in the fourth quarter, and we got an elite edge, and we're not going to be denied. And now we're the Cotton Bowl champs. M-I-Z.
That's just beautiful. That's like you've replaced the Darth Vader one for me with that. It's just beautiful.
Whoa.
Stand on business, Eli.
I didn't come out as Darth Vader. Your boy
actually,
came out as Darth Vader.
You're right.
I came out as Luke Skywalker.
You are right.
Just make sure you get it right.
It's true. It's true.
You were Anakin. There's no doubt about that. No doubt.
But isn't that? But at the essence of this, Coach, is that's awesome because that's the energy that can come out of a bowl game to build off of, and the college football playoff. Anything's possible with 12 teams now. Yeah, absolutely. I think in order to get in the playoffs, you're going to have a special season. But if you get into the playoffs with a experienced quarterback and a solid defense, you're going to have a chance to win football games. And each game is going to be about its individual matchup. And how do you match up? How as coaches do you manage that matchup? And I think last year was a good experience for us in that. I think if you looked at the way us as a staff and the University of Missouri football several years since I've been here, that's kind of how we approach each game. So I do think that we're going to continue to prepare for that. I do think it'll be exciting for the fans.
and it's going to be something new. Nobody's done it before, and that gives you a little bit extra excitement and motivation to try to accomplish it.
Eli, I don't think I'm breaking any news here, but your goal is to make the playoff, correct? I mean, and to win games in the playoff, right?
Yeah, our goal for our program is to chase two dreams, develop an elite edge, and play for championships. And we don't apologize for that. First order of business is to play for the SEC championship. And whatever happens with that, then we'll reassess. And if that's good enough to get us in the playoffs, great. But our goal right now is just to focus on how do we put ourselves in the best position to play for an SEC championship.
Now, Coach, as far as Javon goes, as far as right tackle or left tackle, I mean, either one suiting to him because he's played both during his career in Mizzou. I mean, obviously he's probably a lot more dominant at left.
You're going to get an unselfish player who's going to want to do whatever's best for the team, and whatever position he can compete for and help Jacksonville win football games, he's going to do. I know he can play at both at a high level, and I think that's one of the reasons he was drafted is because he's got position flexibility. And so when he gets his opportunity, or if you need him during the course of the game, he can go to either side and be a good football player in that league.
All right, before we let you go, is Luther Burden on the cover of the new EA Sports College Football, and will you get it and play it?
Irregardless of who's on it, I will get it. I will play it. There's a lot of really good football players in college football right now. But Luther certainly is one of those guys that's very exciting, and we're going to have to do a really good job of getting him to football because when the ball is in his hands, he's got this look in his eye that he's only going to finish when he's in the end zone.
Awesome. It's going to be fun to watch you guys this year, man. Thanks, Eli. Appreciate the time.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all having me on. And Duval.
There he goes. That-a-way drink. Awesome. Eliah Drinkwitz, coach of the Missouri Tigers. Yeah, and Duval's getting Javon Foster from the Missouri Tigers. And as we said, a ton of starts, and we'll see exactly where he fits in with this football team. But for a fourth-round pick, they definitely look like they've got a guy that could come in and be the swing, maybe move interiorly, whatever it might be. Speaking of moving interiorly and swinging,
our next guest is not affiliated with the NFL or Jacksonville Jaguars.
Discussion of injuries is solely based on opinion.
Now, the Bari Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Injury Breakdown.
I'm coming in hot.
Oh, the music means Gio is in the house. That's right, Dr. George Bari. Gio, he of Bari Orthopedics, fellowship trained under the renowned Dr. James Andrews, and scrubbed up and ready to go. Gio, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
You fired up?
Yeah.
All right, listen, how many surgeries today? I'm not even going to ask you. You don't have to tell. You don't have to give it away. How many people did you make better today?
Today's clinic.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Clinic is today.
Yeah,
All right.
All right. So, all right, now listen, if you have a sports injury question, you can hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010, and it could be shoulder pain, knee pain, hip, whatever it might be. We got a couple left over from last week, so all you got to do, 641-1010, and make sure that you give us a little bit of an idea of what you're dealing with. Now, how about this cat? This is a nearly $500 million athlete that is hurt again. Gio, Mike Trout. And all I did was put the headline in there. Mike Trout hurt again. He's got a torn meniscus this time, not going to be out for the entire season. We're talking month and a half. He's supposed to have a procedure on it, but here he goes again.
Yeah, so the meniscus tear, and I think he said that he felt a little tweak and then got
it was nothing major.
Yeah, and then he couldn't get up after a while. So they're saying he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, which means that the surgery that they're going to do is going to be a meniscectomy. They're going to remove the torn piece. I don't know where the tear is in the meniscus, but remember, the meniscus has very poor blood supply. We call it the white zone, the white-red zone, and the red-red zone. And the red-red zone is the area that you fix. Once you get white zone, you can't fix it.
Oh.
And the red-white zone it becomes kind of iffy. So I'm assuming his tears in the white, maybe in what we call the white-red, where there's not good blood flow. So they're just going to kind of remove that piece, remove the discomfort, kind of like having a pebble in your shoe. And then he comes back in 4 to 6 weeks.
I hate the pebble in the shoe.
Yeah.
Hate it. All right, so listen, is there something to a guy, we always say, oh, he's injury prone. But since 2017, Mike Trout's had a torn thumb ligament, wrist inflammation, foot surgery, strained calf, rib cage inflammation, left hamate fracture, which you said is a hand fracture.
Yeah, or a hamate fracture.
Or hamate, as Joe says.
You can order that on the menu.
Or latu. And torn meniscus now.
Yeah,
Is there something to people just being injury prone?
That's a
or
great...
bodies, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. They're all different, right? It's not like you're injuring the same body part all the time, which I think is easier to say that someone has, I don't know, a right shoulder that keeps getting injured because it has all the issues. But he has a different problem every time. And some of them one is a fracture, one is a meniscus tear.
And so think about it. One of them is not one of them, but a handful of them are from fielding, which means you're doing something different, right? And you're exposing your body, going up against the wall, all this kind of stuff. And the other one, the fracture, the hamate, comes right from a fastball where he's leaning in on the plate.
I don't know if there's anything to that.
Like I'm injury prone because I keep hurting the same thing over and over. But it's tough. And here's the thing: the Angels are on the hook for $450 million.
Sounds tough for him.
All right, I'll just tell you this real quick. This is how much he is. Like he may feel like he's either snake bitten or injury prone, however you want to describe it. He was reduced to tears talking about this one. Are you
I don't know. I mean, you just said.
Whoa. Where's the sensitive side of Gio
I mean,
here?
you mentioned he got paid $450 million, then he's reduced to tears.
Right. It's the ultimate guaranteed deals in baseball.
Yeah,
right?
but
no matter what happens, he's getting paid.
But I think
he's Jimbo Fisher right now.
People view him as the best player in the game. He can do everything, and it's probably killing him a little bit that he can't have. Yeah. If we go back, he has not had. No. If you include the pandemic year, that really doesn't count. That's the only healthy year that he's had, 2020, which sucks. By the way, no one was healthy that year, apparently.
Right. It's like I said, at some point, we're just going to completely eliminate 2020 from the books. Everything, not just sports. All right, George, let's get into another guy who continues to get injured. Joel Embiid, the Sixers center. Sixers are down 3-2 to the Knicks. He missed a shoot-around before last night's game because of a migraine. He's got that eye condition where he can't close his left eye, right?
Yeah.
And then he also has the knee. He had that unbelievable play where he was coming down the court on a fast break. He threw the ball off the back, like we used to do on the 8-foot rims when we were growing up. You throw the ball off the backboard, you grab and you dunk it. Just a phenomenal play, and he landed wrong on his knee. So now he's got a bum knee. He's got a left eyelid that won't close and a migraine. And I was asking you prior to the show.
Like Barbosa.
Right. The eyelid not being able to close, does that lead to a migraine or no?
I mean, look, he has a Bell's palsy. Okay, so and I think I read somewhere that he got hit in the head, and maybe that's where they think they got it. But Bell's palsy, you can get it from a virus, and it just causes a paralysis in the facial nerve, and you can't blink. You have dry eye. You have trouble with your mouth. It almost looks like, strokish with the mouth because your mouth you can't move your mouth very well on the left side sometimes. And
why am I seeing the Seinfeld episode right now with the dog barking? I'm seeing that right now.
So he has that, and it definitely causes dry eye. I don't think it causes migraines. I did read some places that sometimes a migraine can cause things that look like a Bell's palsy.
Right.
But I think the migraine, he just got it before the game. It wasn't like he's been having this for weeks.
Plus, I think he just wanted to miss the shoot around.
So I think they're just coincidental, right? Or it just happened to be at the same time.
By the way, he is another guy who's tired of getting injured, who has played through this.
So for him, his knee, he has the same knee that gets injured. So I'd say, yes, for him, that knee is definitely injury prone, right? Whatever is wrong with it has weakened it, and now he's constantly having injuries with it. But when it comes to different body parts, I don't think there's anything to being injury prone. Sort of.
All right, one that we have to stay on, and then I got a couple questions. Hopefully we can sneak them in real fast. But the Timberwolves head coach on the sidelines, Chris Finch, and they barrel into him with a play that's out of bounds right into the Wolves bench. Anyway, torn patella tendon.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's unbelievable.
Terrible. Patella tendon is a terrible injury. Your leg is never as strong.
It's worse than the ACL. You say sometimes, right?
Yeah. For return NFL players, it's worse than the ACL. It's just a terrible injury, and it sucks. And the fact that he got hit, it wasn't bad. He got knocked down, but I don't think anyone thought that he'd rupture his patella tendon doing it. He's just gonna have to.
But when you're not prepared for it, that's tough.
And then it's the sudden forced extension of that quad, and all of a sudden it just pops. A lot of times people that are on, I'm not saying a lot of times, but one of the things you ask is if there are people on steroids, which he doesn't look like he is,
right?
Or maybe he has low T and he's taking it,
which
a little extra dose, which can weaken that, and the tricep and quad. Those are kind of prone to rupturing with testosterone.
What was Nick Nurse's injury? The finger. He broke his finger, right?
I can't remember.
Got run into on the sidelines and broke his finger.
Maybe. Yeah. Who knew? Head coaches on the sidelines. Right. Yeah, they're exposed. All right, real quick, couple questions. If we miss them today, we'll try and get it on Breaking Bones Sunday morning, 7:30. But you can hit us with a question, 641-1010. Doc, I just turned 30 years old. After numerous MRIs over 2 years, I was told I have vascular necrosis of the lunate. And then he describes it as, is it Kienbach? Yeah, Kienbach's disease. Yeah. The orthopedic says he does not offer any surgery options. I'm lost, Doc, and need some guidance. I'm told I could lose 80% mobility in my wrist.
So Kienbach disease is AVN of the lunate bone. The lunate bone is right in the middle, kind of, you have a lunate fossa where it uses your, to move your wrist extension flexion. There's a couple of things you can do, bone grafts and cord decompressions, and you can fuse it if you need to. When it gets really bad, you could remove the bottom row because you have 2 rows of the carpal bones. I don't know how serious his is, but yes, once it gets extensive in different stages of Kienbach's disease, there are things you can do, but they're not like, it's not something, we're going to fix this and you're going to go back to normal, right? You have to either remove a bunch of bones or fuse a bunch of bones. And basically at that point, you're just doing you're doing it to manage the pain because at some point it's going to start hurting. And then you do the other thing so it stops hurting. But they're kind of they're not huge surgeries, but there are drastic. You're changing the anatomy by fusing something or taking it out.
And your wrist movement is
will probably be compromised there. And he's 30 years old, so he's kind of young. This is probably why his age, and I don't know how severe it is, but it's probably not super severe, which is probably why he was told nothing to do right now.
All right, check him out, BariOrthopedics.com, because if you do need a little help there, you definitely can get it. Real quick, I'm in town from St. Thomas for surgical consultation for disc replacement surgery. C6, C7. Could PRP help prevent surgery?
I don't know exactly what he has going on, how severe it is, but I would venture to say no. If you're at the point where you need a disc replacement, I don't think a PRP is going to help you.
That's the best way to look at it if you've gone that far down the road. All right, 641-1010. If you guys want to jump in, we'll make sure we get him on Breaking Bones. Gio.
Yeah.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
They can find our podcast.
Apple, Google, Spotify, and the illustrious 1010 XL website.
Stay away from those dehydrated cookies, Gio.
They're terrible.
That's a snack between surgery.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. The station with the best Jaguars coverage when Jag News breaks. Hear it first on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
This is Dr. George Bari, inviting you to look online at BariOrthopedics.com for the latest in medical advancements when it comes to getting you back to full joint health. After studying under Dr. James Andrews, I know proper diagnosis is the first key to treatment, and educating the patient is the fastest path to recovery. Whether it's chronic back pain, nagging arthritis, or necessary joint replacement, we're here to serve you in the best possible way. We are Bari Orthopedics, and online at BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and you know you've heard this before. Why is it so hot in this house? Well, summer's already here on the First Coast, and those soaring temperatures can do a number on our ACs. And when they break down, we need them repaired in hours, not days. This is where the good folks at Fenwick Home Services have you covered. Fenwick offers same-day service, and if you need a new AC because yours is on its last leg or already broken, Fenwick has next-day installation. That's right, next day, and can keep your family cool and comfortable all year long. Now, here's the best part. Call Fenwick day or night, 24/7, and their expert technicians will get the job done and get it done right the first time. Book online now at FenwickHomeservices.com. That's FenwickHomeservices.com, and stay cool and comfortable all year long.
Calling all poker enthusiasts. Poker Atlas Tour is bringing 7 action-packed poker events to Best Bet St. Augustine, June 6th to 16th, including the $600 no-limit hold'em title event with a $200,000 guarantee. Plus, don't miss Event 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em tournament featuring a $100,000 guarantee. Satellites happening now at Best Bet St. Augustine. Visit bestbetjacks.com for tournament structures and all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Save thousands on Mother's Day gift ideas now at Beard's Diamonds.
Like a beautifully handcrafted 3-carat diamond tennis bracelet, originally $4,050, now sale priced at just $26,3250.
You'll save over $1,400 in the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
1010XL Draft Profiles are brought to you by Total Business Systems. Visit jacksitexperts.com.
Jacksonville caught LSU Tiger Mason Smith at pick 48 in the second round. The 6'5" versatile defensive tackle can play inside and at defensive end. He harassed quarterbacks at LSU with 20 pressures, second in the SEC. Mason Smith should provide push to Jacksonville's interior pass rush, adding depth to the defensive front in Duval.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
Are you ready to help lock down the bank in 2024? Don't miss a single moment when quarterback Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars take on some of the biggest names in the NFL. Become a season ticket member now to get access to exclusive experiences, events, and player appearances all season long. Lock in your seats for 2024 now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at Everbank Stadium.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Kuhn Flowers. John Shipley of Jaguar Report was a guest this morning of Jaguars Today and weighed in on the release of Zay Jones.
Say they had re-signed Calvin Ridley a few months ago. I think this move happened a few months ago. I think this move was always going to happen once they added a receiver. Number 4 receivers, unless they play special teams, there's just not much of a role. And I know there's an injury argument to make, especially, over the course of the offseason or if something happens in training camp. But, they signed 4 undrafted receivers for a reason. It's just the nature of how wide receiver rooms are built. If you're not a starter and you don't play special teams, it's going to be hard to find a role for you, especially at $10 million.
It's 87 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
3 o'clock hour, it is here. We appreciate you hanging out. If you're out and about, covering all of Duval. Listen, I know there's a ton of you out there that are working your fannies off, all right? So we appreciate you taking us for the ride, wherever it's at. I need to have one of those, shift whistles, RJ, because, right now, I can picture some of my beer boys. They're close to pulling in to North Florida sales. They are. They're close to pulling in and just throwing those racks up and getting some more cold beer for the next day of delivery. So we'll shout them out. We'll give them a round of applause right now anyway, because as we talk beer, we have a huge Trace de Mayo get-together at Cinco de Mayo. Tell me if that makes sense to you. A Trace de Mayo party at Cinco de Mayo, which is Cinco de Mayo restaurant on Atlantic this Friday, and basically we're building up a 3-day weekend. So they're definitely delivering some Corona, some cold ones. But we will have a chance with Corona for you guys to come on by Cinco de Mayo, 2 to 4 Friday afternoon, and they have got a pair of tickets to see Dave Matthews. Ever heard of him? Yeah, Dave Matthews Band, pair of tickets at Daly's Place that you got to be present to win, but we plan on having a big time. So come on over, put your name in the hat. We'll have it all ready to go and give you a chance to enjoy a cold Corona and maybe walk away with those tickets. And so as we mentioned them, RJ, let's do a little Corona Call It right now.
He's going to drain it. It all comes down to this.
Oh! How did you call that?
Game recognized game.
All right, let's get into a little game recognizing game. We just had Eliah Drinkwitz on with us a moment ago, and I tell you what, they sent some guys into the National Football League, no question about it. And I look at the top teams, and this is, you're going to be able to get a couple of these, but I want to see how far you can go. All right, so just a little bit of a flavor as far as the teams that had the most players drafted into this year's NFL. Who headlines the list? Most players drafted. I'm looking at the guy to the right of me. I expected to get it. But the most players drafted. And then we're going to start seeing how far down we can go. Teams that had a total of double-digit
Florida State
players drafted.
Florida State.
All right, that's not a
The
bad
most
guess.
players drafted in how many years are we talking?
Well, I set up the question.
Sorry,
as
man.
just
I'm
this-
texting with. I'm trying to get Kiffin. So
Okay.
say
All
it
right.
again.
All right. I set up the question as this year. Most players drafted this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Michigan.
Okay. That's why when I said it earlier, I looked to my right. I said, I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to get that one. So you can ding him up on that one. Now, next team with the most players drafted. Michigan had 13 players. It is worth pointing out that Michigan had J.J. McCarthy go in the first round, and the other dozen that went off the board all went after the first round. What does that say? That's a pretty deep football team, you think about it. All right, so second most drafted, 11 players. Who was it?
I mean, I think it's Ohio State, but it's probably going to be somebody funky.
LSU. Georgia. What about
No,
Georgia?
I think it's going to be Ohio State, but he's going to bring up some kind of funky. You know who it is? It was Arizona State. I know it's not Arizona State. But it's
Oregon.
something like that.
Only Pac-12 team.
It's not Mizzou, is it? Mizzou had like at least 6 or 7. I know that. I'm going to go Ohio State.
All right, it is not correct. I would have dinged you up. The second school most drafted this year, Hook 'em Horns.
No.
The Texas
Longhorns,
Longhorns, including one that was drafted by this very franchise in Keelan, Washington. So Texas, the second most. Now, you mentioned, who did you mention early?
Florida State.
Florida State, a total of 10.
10.
10. So there were at the top of the list, 13 players from one school, 11 from another. There were 3 that had 10 drafted in this year's draft. Florida State's one of them. Who else?
3 that had 10?
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good number.
That's a big number. That's a solid number.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Georgia?
Nope, but I'll give it to you, so we'll just kind of
Alabama.
rifle through a few of these real quick. The other 2 teams that had 10 players drafted, they have one name in common with both of these schools that I'm talking about.
Penn State? I don't know.
No, one name in common, meaning Kalen DeBoer.
Oh, Alabama and Washington.
Alabama and Washington. Alabama and Washington had 10 players drafted. I'm just telling you something. Crimson Tide, if you sit out there and you start looking at what Kalen DeBoer does and you want to get on his case and say he ain't Nick and all that kind of stuff, well, guess what, bro? They brought some players in. They brought some players into the National Football League from Washington. We can't do that, but from Washington. And so that part is very, very cool. Now, 8 players. Who'd you say earlier?
I said
Ohio State.
I said Georgia.
Georgia.
The Bulldogs.
Georgia had 8. You mentioned Penn State earlier.
Yeah, Penn State and Ohio
Penn State had 8. Oregon had 8. So if you take a look at the Pac-12, that's Washington and Oregon that had a couple of them in the top 5 as far as teams, schools.
What did you say Florida had? 11? Is that what you said? Florida,
no,
11?
Florida State had 10. Let me tell you something. Florida is embarrassing.
Is that what you said, 11 for the Gators this year?
I will save them as my next Corona call it coming up tomorrow. But I'll just tell you this. So 8 from Georgia, Oregon, and Penn State. Then you had 7 from Notre Dame and USC. You had 6 from Clemson, LSU, and Eli. Missouri had 6.
By the way, Darius Robinson's going to be the best of that group.
Yeah, Darius Robinson looks pretty good.
Bad dude.
Let's see here. Auburn and Utah had 5. I got to get to this, okay?
Still haven't a group of 5 team yet, by the way. Still haven't hit one.
All right, so here we go. Teams that had 4 players drafted. Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisville, Ohio State only had 4, South Carolina A&M, and the U. Miami had 4.
Did you say South Carolina A&M?
No, I said South Carolina
and A&M. Okay.
And A&M.
We only have 4.
Good.
That's nothing to celebrate.
Okay, now, let me get to this now.
Go ahead.
Okay, you asked for the group of 5. I'm looking here for 3. 3 players drafted. I don't see a group of 5 from there either. Let's get to 2. You got Archie, BC, Kansas. You have Marshall.
All right.
Okay.
I know where 1 is. Like if you say who had 1 guy drafted.
Yeah, Marshall had. Let's see here. Troy, Tulane, UCF. They were all part of that pack that had 2.
UCF's Big 12 now. Okay.
Now let's get to the group that had 1 drafted. 1. And I have even though we can't say, hey, he's here, we have a great one from this school in the building. 1 player drafted from these schools. Air Force, British Columbia, BYU, Cal, Cincinnati, Colorado State, go you mighty Rams, Eastern Kentucky, are you ready for this? Georgia State, Holy Cross, and Findlay had the same number of players drafted at the University of Florida.
Process, Joe. It's a process.
I'm telling you what, man. That is
Findlay?
Unbelievable. Findlay had as
Wow.
many players drafted as the University of Florida. Holy Cross had as many. Houston Christian had as many. Let's see here. New Hampshire had as many. Rice, Missouri State. That's Southeast Missouri State.
We're looking for quality young men, Joe. You know
Oh my gosh, I could
On and
not
off the
believe
field.
that. And by the way, Texas A&M only had 1. Oh, check that.
Well,
that's Texas A&M Commerce that only had 1.
Your only one did go red carpet, though.
Yeah, he
did go red carpet.
He did go red carpet.
And thank goodness he went red carpet, Scotty. The way Ricky Pearsall came off the board at the end was it brought joy to a lot of Gators' hearts. That's for sure. Unbelievable that he was able to sneak in there. All right, let's get back to your Jacksonville Jaguars as we start talking a little bit more about what they did with the draft and what Javon Foster does bring to this football program. We'll get into that coming up on XL Primetime, a golf club of Southampton Wednesday. Yale had 1 player too.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Mike Ditkin.
I'm Jeremy Mincy. I'm Amani Toomer.
You're listening to 1010XL.
1010XL. 1010XL.
92.5 FM.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. Look, I depend on South State for so many things: personal accounts, small business banking, and banking for our nonprofit. South State Bank can help you reach all your financial goals too, whether you're just starting out or focused on financial planning. South State offers convenience with their online and mobile banking. You should check out South State Bank, as they were recently recognized by Forbes as one of America's best banks. That's South State, banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, I know we love our happy hours, but have you been to Mr. Chubby's Wings for lunch lately?
Yep, their new specials are awesome. I eat lunch there all the time.
I went this week and got wings, a drink, and chips for $8.
As usual, the best prices in town. You can't hardly find anyone doing $8 lunch anymore.
I know. I'm saving my money for the weekends with $8 lunch specials.
Save your money for the weekends. Enjoy $8 lunch specials Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 3 locations serving you for all sports all year. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or or go to ShinatriDC.com.
It's Kubota Orange Days, your golden chance to score a deal that will make your neighbors green with envy. Shop the year's best selection of Kubota tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles, including the #1 selling compact tractor in the USA. And get the year's best deals, like 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,300 off L3302 tractors. Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
Coastal Equipment.
I'm Hacker, and Denny Thompson and I will navigate you through the Florida football offseason during the Gator Bites podcast, presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. New episodes drop every Friday. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Attention golfing fans, Leon Searcy here. The Smoking Aces of Jacksonville are presenting my celebrity golf tournament at Queens Harbor Golf and Country Club June 14th. Tee time is at 9 a.m. Along with myself, we've got celebrity NFL, NBA, and former boxing champions who will be in attendance. Go to SmokingAcesJacksonville.com to register or become a sponsor. SmokingAcesJacksonville.com. The big fella will be there.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and you've heard me praising the quick and easy process of Awaken 180 weight loss. Now I'm going to explain the benefits. It begins with fitting into clothes you haven't worn in years, or better yet, buying new clothes because those you have simply don't fit anymore, or tightening your belt and realizing you're out of holes, or running on the treadmill or on the beach, or lifting weights just like you once did, or, and here's the key, your health drastically changes. Who doesn't want that? The transformation from old you to new you is the finish line, and Awaken 180 weight loss gets you there faster, safer, and easier than any other weight loss program. You're healthy, you're happy, you've made a paradigm life shift. If I can do it, if Mike Dempsey can do it, and Hacker can do it, if more than 21,000 others can do it, you can too. Get your plan, get your personal coach, and get your results by doing what we all did. Choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Nothing is more relaxing and enjoyable than a great cigar. And perhaps the finest Honduran cigars in the market are Aladino cigars. Come out and meet Justo Iroa, who along with his father Julio created this masterpiece. Join us at Tobacco Cove Saturday, May 4th from 1 to 4 p.m. to experience the Honduran Puro Aladino from the people that originally created the Camacho cigars that you love. Kick back in our clean, comfortable lounge with food, prizes, and great deals on Aladino cigars. Tobacco Cove, Bay Meadows Road for a taste of perfection.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, this is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, so I've done just enough Gator bashing that I'm going to make a Gator happy, okay? We'll get back to the Jags, but I just want to make at least one Gator happy. And look, there are Gator fans out there that are thinking kind of what we're thinking, that the erosion of talent was pretty obvious from McElwain to Mullen and then into present day Billy Napier, where he hasn't necessarily been able to lasso as many big-time players as he was hoping. And it has in large part to do with the product on the field.
It has everything to do with the product on the field.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't just say in large part. The product, and what has been my mantra, Matt, this entire time, the product's the product's the product.
Yes.
That's what you sell off of. I don't care what anybody says. Your product is what you sell off of. It's your opening your doors. We're open for business. This is my product. And if a recruit doesn't like your product, what do?
They go to another team.
Yeah.
Especially now with NIL, they just
absolutely.
get money, man.
All right, so-
I keep telling you guys this. Everybody basically has the same money.
Let me make at least one Gator fan happy. We have a pair of tickets to Florida v. Tennessee. And I was just talking to a former Gator athlete that was down there watching some Gator baseball and said it was outstanding. And so if you can go down there and you can see Cags or any of these other guys, but you got it tomorrow night. First pitch is at 7 o'clock. Do not call RJ if you can't use them. But if you would love to go see the Gators take on the Vols, first pitch tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, 641-1010, and RJ will get you hooked up with a pair of tickets.
That's number 2 ranked Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh, listen, that's a good little matchup. And we were talking about.
They're not that good, but Cags, have you seen the season he's having?
Oh, my gosh, some of the numbers.
He's got 26 home runs right now.
Yeah. And by the way.
And he's unbeaten as a starter, too.
Wyatt Langford, his first home run in the Bigs was an inside the Parker, which is pretty cool. I like that. But I got to give you this, okay, because this is the number I was talking about not just a second ago, just as far as the classes are concerned. And maybe we can mix in a little college football as we talk about this, because the spring portal officially closed yesterday, Matt. So you got to chime in on that, because I feel like we got a few college football things that we can hit. But here we are. Dan Mullen, this is from Zach Alvaberti. We know he covers the Gators on a daily basis. Dan Mullen's recruiting produced the Gators' worst draft class since 1980. UF's only pick was Ricky Pearsall in the first round. Thankfully for Gators, they were able to at least send a first-rounder into the league. But here's the number. 60% of Mullen's 2019 class and 70% of his 2020 class have transferred. And so, and as I was saying earlier in the break, that's bad on both sides.
Yeah,
because Mullen's guys have exited, which means Billy's guys have come in, and the product hasn't gotten any better.
That sounds like a homer, honestly. Really, you're blaming Dan Mullen's 2019 and 2020 classes for the 2023 team? You got to be kidding me. No, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
Right.
All I'm saying is that's the idea, the thought process there as well. They don't have any guys, and they don't have any guys because they didn't get any guys 5 years ago. Well, guess what? It's his team. The entire roster is his team. The entire roster, for the most part last year, with the exception of a handful of guys, was his team.
Yeah, that I get for sure. But there's also the one thing, Leon, that I always wrestle with, and I think if, and I think it's fair to say, McElwain and Mullen left a very bad situation. McElwain left it for Mullen. Mullen resurrected him, got him to 2 New Year's Day 6 games, and then he ditched the program and left him in shambles, okay? And so all I'm saying is that the erosion over time, it does take a lot of work to build that back up. So in other words,
I don't agree with that.
Well, the only reason I say it, Matt, is because there's not a deep roster that you can go and start to add things to.
Well, I mean,
they're starting from scratch.
Okay, let's look at Lane Kiffin took over at Ole Miss, which was a dumpster fire. He won 5 games his first year in 2020. The COVID season. Year 2, he won 10 games.
Yeah, look.
At Ole Miss, Joe.
Yeah, I know. Look,
in the most difficult division in college football.
Yeah, trust me, I am not making excuses for Billy here. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to at least put a flashlight on how bad it was. That's all.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Joe, I mean, up 95 and down 10. Florida State's looking pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
You got Jimbo, what Jimbo did, and Taggart, what Taggart did, and then Mike Norvell had to deal with.
He was in a much worse situation.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
very true.
And it just happens to be in our state. So, I mean, he is the poster child for disruption to bring it back to prominence. So, I mean, we have to look that square in the face.
He walked into a situation where he had a young Jordan Travis who was still really green as a quarterback, as his quarterback. And Billy Napier walked into a situation where he had a top 5 pick as his quarterback.
Yeah, you can't ignore it. Honestly, you can't. Like I said, this is not me pom-pomming for Billy. I ain't doing that because I fear the worst as far as what's going to happen. I feel like, I always will keep an open mind in the offseason, but what the last thing I saw from Billy was, a little tick of improvement. The same thing can be said. Yeah, the same thing can be said, sirs, down in South Florida, because both Billy and Mario have not been able to move the meter the way they were supposed to. Now, Mario, the last few days of this transfer portal being opened again, he went out and got him some good players, and I think Cam Ward's being given credit for bringing a few of those extra guys in. Who was it? Damian Martinez was one of the guys that comes
Oregon
in.
State, running back. Yeah.
And anyway, that's going to be a big, big test for them down there as well.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's got to transition on the football field, to be quite honest with you. Mario, he's a hell of a recruiter. He can get guys to come to Miami. Listen, first of all, Miami is a counterpart. It's a place, a destination spot. Okay, let's not lose sight of that. It's a destination spot. But to get those kind of athletes to come there and commit to Miami, now Mario's all this talent that he's amassed over the transfer portal,
right?
Guys coming over, man. It's got to equate to wins. It's got to equate to W's. He got to win 10 this year. He got to win 10 in the playoffs.
It's okay. First thing I want to say is I wasn't insinuating that you were the guy that was making excuses. I was insinuating that Zach was making the excuses.
Billy Napier, I love you, man,
right.
but sometimes I struggle.
And I've been talking about this with Leon now for a few weeks. I don't think people realize how big that game is going to be that first week of the season.
Florida
now,
v. Miami.
There are other great games. There's LSU, USC. There's Notre Dame, Texas A&M. There's games that people will think are these, huge games, and they are big games. Florida, Miami is massive because whoever loses that game, they're in trouble.
Yeah,
they are in trouble because their fan base immediately is going to say, what in the world is going on? Not just their fan base, their AD, their president, their boosters. At that point, you say, look, here we are now, year 3 of both these guys, right?
Yeah.
And you're playing each other, and you get to see exactly how far each one of these programs have come.
I'd like to apologize to the Gator fans now.
Listen, I would like to call it, I love how it's a State of the Union game.
It is.
It's a State of the Union game basically saying this is who we are going forward. This is what we've done. Now listen to this, Matt and Searcy. Okay, so if you take a look at what Miami has to deal with versus what Florida has to deal with, and we give college football fans these little snippets all throughout the offseason, Miami, they have Florida State in their house down in South Florida. They do not have to play Clemson, North Carolina, NC State. SMU is just Johnny to the party lately, but they don't have to play them. And so Miami has a little bit of a favorable schedule.
What y'all do to get that schedule?
Huh?
What y'all do to get that schedule?
What do we do? That's the schedule they gave us.
Yeah, honestly, that's not bad at all.
You don't do a little complaining? Is that what you do?
Nah, bro, we don't complain.
A little whining about your
tough
tough schedule?
whine. Listen. Whoever we play, we play.
All right, now I don't know whether you can match this, Matt, but Florida did bring in a few portal guys. Okay, they brought in a few. But if you take a look at Miami right now, you mentioned Damian Martinez comes out of Oregon State. Sam Brown, the wideout, comes out of Houston. Linebacker Jalen Alderman out of Louisville. And then you've got Deone Hill out of Marshall. He's a corner. All those guys are expected to step in and play or contribute fairly early.
They're very similar, their classes, their portal classes. It's going to come down to the guys they recruited and how they develop them. And if you're looking at classes, Miami's probably had the better classes. It all comes down to development, man, really. And if you are comfortable in Billy Napier and his staff and the way they're developing players, then you got a good feeling about the game at home. Now, I think Ron Roberts is a heck of an offseason addition. Yeah. Probably the best offseason addition they've had, including any player. He's a guy that I mean, we had Pup Howard on. He was talking about how he's changed, like Leon likes to say, the temperature in the locker room. These guys are now excited, and he's an excitable guy. You like to see stuff like that because, quite frankly, and I keep saying this, the guy in charge, and he may be different behind closed doors, but on that sideline during game day, it's just nothing. It's almost flatline.
I have to admit it. You know how I've admitted this before. I occasionally listen to podcasts on 1.5 times the speed just to kind of get it going a little bit. I heard Pate sit down with Billy at 1.5 speed. Billy was engaging. He really was. He sounded. I'm telling you, he sounded pumped, and I loved it. And I'm thinking if he could just
he's such a good dude. Everybody wants him to win there, man. They love who he is, what he's about, how he develops guys away from the field. He's just got to develop them on the field, and they've got to be
they've got to be in a situation where they're in games of importance and they're winning and making plays in games of importance. So I thought they made a huge step the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season last year.
You definitely
and
saw.
Had Graham Mertz stayed healthy, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, had he stayed healthy, I think they could have beaten Florida State at home.
Yeah, you saw the earmarkings.
Yeah, but it's not, once that happened, you get the step back, they don't make a bowl game, and now more negative attention is on them.
All right, Leon, you got to answer to this off the text line designed by Lifetime Closures.
All right.
Miami got Georgia Tech on that schedule. Did Miami install quarterback Neal this spring?
We probably did. We'll have a quarterback Neal too in the swamp too.
Miami isn't going to know what to do playing in front of 90,000. Oh, they're coming in hot.
90,000.
Oh yeah, you better
in
believe
the swamp.
It. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I mean, that's the capacity.
Oh yeah.
You would hope they get 90,000.
You would
for
hope.
that game.
Yeah, that game. Yeah, we would.
And by the way,
I'm looking forward to it. I've never been in the swamp before.
Searcy ain't been in the swamp since he was recruited.
Recruited by Florida.
It's been that long?
It's been that long.
So
Last
they
time,
had AstroTurf in that field last time.
Yeah, last time I was in the swamp, I was a 1987 recruit.
Yeah, so you listen, you are used to the 20,000 fans, so you will see.
Ah, look at you.
You will see almost 5 times as much.
Yeah, right.
Okay. You gonna have the towel on too?
Huh?
You gonna have your towel?
I have to, yeah. I'll be there. I'm ready.
I'm trying to figure out who. Are we bunking? I was trying to figure out if we were.
Well, listen, I
we
tried
to do it with JJ.
I tried to get a room in Gainesville, and I'm going to stay in Ocala.
Yeah, JJ's parents in Ocala.
Price, the gouging up there in Gainesville.
Yeah.
$8.90 a night.
So, here's
we're
a great example.
profiteering over the Canes.
I talked to you about how
town.
the fan bases and the ADs and the presidents are going to be a big question.
Yeah.
Leon, a legendary Cane Hall of Famer, if y'all lose that game in Gainesville, what are you thinking at that point?
I don't think like that. That's the problem with you, man. You want me to bring negativity in my mind. No, I'm not.
There is no negativity.
No, I'm not. That's not going to manifest. I'm not going to speak it into existence.
Look, because I do agree the way we all have described it, a State of the Union game, a referendum
it's 100%
game.
State
It is.
Yes.
It's here's what we've been up to kind of game.
Yes.
And I did hear that Billy, at least we started our show talking about the offseason conversation here. How many starters did you go get? How many did you sign? How many did you draft? And Billy is telling the tale. And like I said, I'm a Gator alum. I'm rooting for him. But that things have been fixed, that the organizational stuff that's taken place this offseason, he said it's invaluable what they've been able to do. I want to believe it. I do, but I gotta see it.
Have you become July Joe with the Gators?
No, not yet.
You gotta do like me. You just window shop right now.
I gotta
Don't
see
go in the store and buy nothing.
Yeah.
All the good news I've been hearing about the Miami Hurricanes over the spring and the spring game.
A lot of good news.
Oh, nothing but great news. Cam Ward is this, that, whatever. I said, bro, I'm not going in the store. I'm not buying nothing.
Best quarterbacks in
I have my face up against the window, but I ain't going in the store.
But it's like if I can go down there and I can see Trey the Third, okay, Wilson the Third, and I can see him become a superstar, and I see some of these other guys step in and make plays immediately. Heck, Montrell's still there. He is a good running back. That is one that Billy was able to bring from Louisiana. Thankfully, he stuck around when
Webb's a good player too.
When Trevor and Trayon, there's a lot of this Jaden Baugh kid. There's a lot of them that
DK's a good player. I mean, Graham Mertz was a good player at the end of last season.
Yeah, I do believe you will see Lagway sooner than later. I don't think there's any doubt.
I don't agree with you on that. I think it's Graham.
All right, so let's just pair
Mertz's
this up
team.
real quick. Okay, DJ Lagway is a superstar, okay? And I have some numbers here that I'll try and bring up either today or tomorrow as far as the number of
Wait, you're already declaring it. He's a superstar.
I think he looks like he could be a superstar. He really does. He has all the tools, size, speed, all that stuff. I really do think he has the potential to be a superstar. But my point is that he came in billed as a superstar, right? Arch Manning came into Texas and was billed as a superstar. They are still talking about Arch Manning, if there is not an injury concern for Quinn Ewers, that he will be sensational in 2025.
Right, but Quinn Ewers is a
25
first-round pick, a top 15 pick.
I get it, but my point is you can't be sitting a kid that long.
I mean, unless he wants to.
Oh, my gosh. Arch Manning, oh, my
God.
God.
I don't disagree, though. All I'm saying is he's got a guy in front of him that's elite.
Yes.
This is like some
Quinn
kind of
Ewers is very
bizarre
good.
world right now where a year ago I was ripping Graham Mertz, and now I'm the guy
You're
defending
loving on him.
Now I'm defending him.
Right.
It's his team.
So,
Unless something happens to him, it's
okay,
his team.
So here it is, Matt. if Quinn Ewers were in front of DJ Lagway, I wouldn't be saying this. But I'm saying it because I think there's a place for him even with Graham Mertz and his improvement last year. I really do.
I think they'll have series
at a
for him
minimum
and packages,
Yeah.
and he'll play, X amount of plays, but it's not going to be 30. I don't even think it's going to be 20 or even 15 or sometimes not even 10.
Yeah. 2 or 3 series I'd like to see
If
per half.
If they can throw the ball like Billy Napier has been saying they can throw the ball with Graham Mertz, it's Graham Mertz's team, period.
Yeah. Well, you need, like we said, we need Wilson III, and we need some of the other guys to step up and make plays for them in that.
Right, and if you're in a third and half a yard situation, and, once again, you're like everybody else who's in the shotgun third and half a yard, then you bring Lagway in. Let him get the third and half a yird.
And Marcus Burke and some of these guys that we've seen that come over from the First Coast to Gainesville, they need to be able to step up. But, yeah, that's it. And, by the way, on that third and a yard, do not do that trick play against the University of Georgia. Do not do that, okay? Do not do
was that play,
the
man?
under just don't do that. That is
not only that, because Graham Mertz was actually playing well in that game at that point,
he
too.
was. Yeah, and he got killed.
Weird.
He got killed. It is XL Primetime. The Golf Club of Southampton. They bring you today's show. Would love to see you out 9 after 5 this afternoon. It's a gorgeous day, gorgeous night of weather. All you got to do is call 287-PLAY. You can get on the tee sheet, talk a 9-hole game, food afterwards, some prizes. It's all good. The 9 after 5, call 287 and go enjoy the Golf Club of Southampton.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. Jacksonville's home for Florida Gators baseball.
The Gators get 3 with number 3 Tennessee. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night on 1010 AM.
Nimnick Chevrolet is Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. Frank Frangie here. With new shipments arriving daily, Nimnick Chevrolet has the best selection of Silverado trucks on the ground in town. Nimnick Chevrolet is conveniently located on the corner of Park and Cassett Avenue or online at nimnickchevy.com. Nimnick Chevrolet is family-owned and operated. No one cares more about their customers before and after the sale. That's Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
It's about time for a technology support company to speak the language of your business and have local people who actually answer the phone when you need answers now. It's time to call Total Business Systems. Whether your company needs managed IT services, video surveillance, or voice and data wiring, discover why Total Business Systems is on the Jacksonville Business Journal's Fast 50. Call 604-6900, 604-6900, or jacksitexperts.com.
Roland Reich Plumbing, there when you need them. Big or small plumbing problem, call Roland Reich Plumbing anytime at 260-7059. 260-7059, where quality and experience count.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 1st, 1925, catcher Jimmy Flax, future Baseball Hall of Famer, made his MLB debut at 17 for the Philadelphia A's.
Everyone seems to be in a time crunch these days. Well, don't forget you can always count on the cold case at Daly's. Always convenient, always cold, whether it's the king of beers, Natty Light, Stella, or Cigar City, or Goose Island or Bud Light Seltzer. Dash into Daly's and grab one to go.
Mia here. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide. Cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays. And new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sports book. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using promo code 1010XL when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
I-9 Sports wants to make sure kids all over the First Coast can enjoy growing up on a field or in a gym. And right now, summer and fall registration is open. So make sure you find out what I-9 Sports offers in your area across Duval, Clay, and St. John's. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
How many furlongs are there in a mile? The answer next.
With hurricane season now here, the only weather you need to be concerned about is whether your homeowner's insurance policy will cover you in the event of storm damage. Ask about Southern Oak Insurance today.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 8 furlongs to a mile, and each furlong 660 feet, totaling 5,280 feet.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Who lit it up last night? Brought to you by American-Electrical.com.
And now they're just trying to get to the finish line and wrap up this series. Maxey floats it up and in, plus the foul.
How about this shot? The degree of difficulty. I mean, you got Mitchell Robinson there in your face, able to concentrate, the strength to still get the ball up.
10 seconds left in game 5. Maxey fires! He's got it! Tie game! 8.1 to play. 41 for Maxey. 3 seconds left. Brunson, 2 seconds. Brunson at the horn. It's blocked. Overtime at the Garden.
It was something else. You can go back in time and immediately think of Reggie Miller against the Starks-led Knicks, and that was some kind of special. This one was pretty dang close with 7 points scored in, 17 seconds, RJ, in that neighborhood, in an incredible way to get them to extras and then get the win, keep the playoff series alive, and they definitely are keeping the lights on. Who lit it up last night? Courtesy of American Electrical. Remember, they are powered by professionalism. If you want to light up your world, make sure you check out American-Electrical.com. Tyrese Maxey was something last night.
Yeah, he was special. He got finished with 46?
Yeah.
It needed that. It was down, 2-1? No, 3-1. So they had to go that game. No goes back to Philadelphia. Now you make it take it into a 7-game series. See what happens.
And by the way, Joel Embiid is not 100%. And
shocking as it sounds. As shocking as that sounds.
Yeah, look, I think the guy has had a career that has been kind of like two guys you probably would mention in the NBA quite a lot, and it wouldn't take you long to say, is he hurt again?
He's so talented, though, man.
It would be AD and Embiid because they're big men that just every time you turn around, it seems like they're hurt. Well, AD played pretty healthy a lot of this year, and so did Embiid before that meniscus injury. I believe it was a meniscus. Yeah, it was a meniscus because we were talking about it with him when it originally happened. Then he hurts himself again in the early stages of this postseason. He had just barely come back from that injury. Mm-hmm. Bottom line is Tyrese Maxey needed to step up when Embiid wasn't 100%, and he did.
Yeah. Well, I told Hacker, we was watching the draft last Saturday, the Magic tied it up, the series up 2-2, right?
Yeah.
And I said, Hacker, you know what? If the Magic win this series and go on to the next round, I'm going to see if I can call my boy Nick Anderson and see us get us a couple of tickets to the game, right? So
nice.
And the Magic won the game, so the best time to holler at somebody is when they're feeling good. So I text Nick, I say, Nick, listen, if y'all make it to the second round, I need a couple of passes so I can take my boys to the game. He said, no problem. So I told Hacker, and I just looked at the score. I said, Hacker, now the Magic got to pull it through if you want to go to the playoff game. So I'm looking at the score, and the Magic, they lost by 2 to the Cavaliers just the other day. So it's on here. I told Hacker, I'm probably listening.
Yeah,
it's on y'all now, bro. It's on y'all. Y'all got to win too. Want them tickets?
It's funny because the Bucks are close to being knocked out because of all the injuries that they've had to deal with. We just talked about the injuries with Embiid, and you take a look at honestly Cleveland when it started out. They beat the Magic, beat them handily. Really, both times by what? Double digits.
Every game has been decided by 21 points or more in the first 4 games.
That is nuts, man. That is a big, big number. And then the Cavs in this game 5, they end up beating them by a point. So, yeah, it's something else. So,
1 point,
yeah. So now you got Friday night back in Orlando, and we'll see whether or not they can keep it going. Oh, that's for sure. All right, Tres de Mayo, we mentioned it earlier. You've got a celebration that will take you into Cinco de Mayo weekend. We would love to see you at Cinco de Mayo Restaurant on Atlantic, and we will be hanging out XL Primetime 2 to 4 with Corona. They will give you a chance to win Dave Matthews Band tickets, concerts at Daly's Place. I think they got back-to-back nights. Anyway, you'll have a chance to win a pair of tickets to one of those concert nights. So just make plans to be with us, XL Primetime, at Cinco de Mayo on Tres de Mayo, which is Friday, May 3rd, as we get ready for Cinco de Mayo. Make sure you come check us out, 2 to 4. All right, so it's such a big conversation when we start going down our college path as far as the interaction, either on YouTube, the MyBookie Digital Studios, the comments on that page, or on the text line designed by Lifetime Coach. I mean, it is nuts, and I think all these fans are just anxious to all get out, trying to figure out whether or not they can turn the corner and get back to where they once were. Miami's asking that question. Florida's asking that question. We had Eliah Drinkwitz on from Missouri. Remember, they wanted to run his big behind out of town before he made changes, coordinator decisions, and obviously
you heard what I said. Like, when he was on, I said, this time last year, Eli, you looked at me and said, look, man, I'm just trying to win a game. Mm-hmm. He was literally just trying to win enough games to get to a bowl game and kind of like calm the masses a little bit. And then it just all clicked. And it clicks. There comes a point at every program where it's either going to all click and you move forward, or it doesn't and you're going to get fired. And that's the situation Florida's looking at, and Miami for that matter, this season. It's either going to click or it's not.
Well, that's why at least one of my arguments.
It's year 3 for both of them.
Yeah, one of my arguments with DJ Lagway is that, Billy, you recruited him. You may not have a chance to coach him. Think about it. You may not have a chance to coach him. So we'll find out whether or not what they do with him. Mertz definitely has done well enough to be able to own that position, at least for the here and now. But if you're talking about potential, overall talent, all that stuff, I don't know how good a decision maker or accurate a thrower DJ Lagway will be, but I do see the skill set, and it looks promising. There's no doubt about it.
He's never played on the road in that league. He's never been in those big-time situations.
Oh, of course,
You've got to account for that. I'm not saying he can't handle it. I'm not saying he won't handle it. All I'm saying is there's a lot of factors, more than just saying, all right, let's put the ball in his hand and see what he can do. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah. But listen, I feel a lot more comfortable with the fact Cam Ward's a fifth-year senior than if we had a superstar freshman coming in.
I agree with.
I
because
just
he has poise. He's been in it. He knows what to expect.
Yeah, and if you're a head coach who's quite frankly, both our coaches are on the hot seat, I would definitely roll with the fifth-year senior. Did a hot shot freshman.
Well, they both. Mertz is a sixth-year super senior. Yeah. Ward is a fifth-year. I mean, Ward's not going to be intimidated by anything. In fact, he played in front of more people at Washington State than he will at Miami.
Don't do it. See what I'm saying? You take a shot. See, that was unnecessary.
But
that's to the white.
I love it.
Unnecessary.
And that Washington State stadium is literally like a high school stadium.
Yeah.
With like a nice facility at the end of it. It's like 35,000.
We don't have our own stadium on site. So.
Well, listen, as long as you can handle the berm, as Rick Ballou likes to call it, up there in Carter Finley.
What happened to Ruiz,
Snake
by the
Pit.
way? I thought he was building you guys a brand new stadium.
I thought so too.
Not happening.
I don't know. I'm not in the inner circles like that.
Real quick though, Cam Ward has been given quite a bit of credit for lassoing some of these other guys.
Yeah,
and bringing them down.
He's doing a lot of recruiting as well.
Yeah,
he's doing a lot of recruiting,
which is good. And so Damian Martinez primarily was one of the main guys from the Pac-12. All right, really, real quick on the injury front, and I agree. Some of these guys they're coming in with AD's shoulder might have cost the Lakers Game 5. It was so weird. It was such a freak. One guy's coming down, the other guy's coming up. They knock shoulders like you would see knock knees or whatever, and it hurt him. There's no question about it. He was able to come back. The other one off the text line, which I agree with, Kawhi.
Yeah.
Other superstar, always hurt. And that dude.
It was that one shining year, man, and then it's just after that, it's just.
Well,
I mean, he had big years with the Spurs, obviously.
Big years with the Spurs.
But I mean, where it was just him.
Yeah.
That one big year with Toronto, and then he's been just knocked around. For
Greg
5
Oden,
years.
of course. I totally agree with that. That was a guy that definitely represented a lot of potential when he came into the league, and never ever was that Oden and Durant. That was right, back to back, 1 and 2. Kevin Durant's still playing, so it does give you an idea of the timeline. Here's a quick
almost
question.
Jordan and Bowie, almost. I mean, KD certainly isn't Jordan.
Yeah,
but Bowie and Oden, very similar.
Yeah, because injuries just got him. But this is a question that I heard just kind of bouncing around Sunset Grill, having a cold one. Steph Curry, LeBron, KD. Do any of them win another title?
No,
And if?
no, and no.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say
maybe Steph if he goes somewhere else, which I don't know if that'll ever happen.
No, they're not going to.
Look, the fact that Golden State was able to build it back up last year and win was still pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, it was impressive.
But you had the Clays, the Draymonds, you had those, and then they inserted Poole, inserted Wiggins, and they had those other guys come up. But KD went to a decent situation last year, and it just
listen,
unraveled.
KD is the big three killer. Every big three that they've tried to assimilate around him is imploded.
Yeah.
Right.
How'd Brooklyn go?
if he didn't allow his arrogance or his sensitivity towards your boy in Golden State, he could still be there.
Oh yeah,
he could still be there.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. You got KD, you got
And
Steph,
yeah,
Clay,
it was
and
crazy.
Draymond. I mean, they cost him leaving probably cost him at least 2 titles.
Yeah, and he walked in all, was the best player that year. He earned the award.
Won the MVP and everything.
Yeah, he was great. But Steph still runs that team, and you know how that goes.
And I hope this isn't true, but they said the reason why he left is because Steph was more loved, more beloved. Of course, he's more beloved than you. I mean,
he also
they
thought,
drafted
Leon.
him, huh?
He also thought that him winning the 2 titles would, in the national media's eyes, put him over LeBron, and when it didn't, he got sensitive, and that's.
Hey, KD, sensitive? You kidding?
I mean, that's what the talk was. He thought, hey, I beat LeBron twice.
Yeah.
This should put me over LeBron. People said no because you joined the 73-win team.
He's got a burner account responding to you right now.
Well, LeBron did the same
You know how
thing he
sensitive
did. He joined a powerhouse team and won 2. So, I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah.
No difference.
All right, we are done. We're going to hand it off. The Francis Show coming up next. I do love the last text. I think Matt changes his mind on Merce once Miami blows the Gators out. We'll find out whether that happens or not. I like the Gators' chances against those Canes. We got plenty of time to talk about that one. You got plenty more coming up this afternoon. We say thanks to the Golf Club of Southampton. No doubt about it. Great golf experience, in great shape. The weather's fantastic. You know, coming through the winter and making sure those greens are good to go is not easy, and they're working hard at it and making sure you get that great golf experience. The 9 after 5, you can call 287-PLAY. Enjoy a little after. This is kind of like breaking up the middle of the week. So call and head on out. 9-hole game, food, prizes, all part of your Wednesday evening at the Golf Club of Southampton. We're done. The Francis Show's coming up next. Joe C., Matty Hayes, Big Searcy, and RJ.
Buckle up. You're in the